go ahead and get started. My name is Sabrina Feliciano. I work out of the Springfield, Massachusetts office for Social Security. I do the public affairs for this area. I've been with the agency 15 years now. I started in the offices, and then the last 5 I've been doing the public affairs. I go out, my areas like Pittsfield, Greenfield, North Adams, Springfield, Holyoke, Worcester, all the way out to Waltham and Framingham. So it's a very large area, and I'm very happy to be able to be here today. So we're going to learn a little bit about Social Security, how it works, how you can get it, how Windfall and government pension offset, Medicare, all of that are tied in. So just a quick history of Social Security. We did start in 1935, and we added survivors benefits on in 1939, disability insurance benefits in 1956. And just a fun fact about the retirement benefits, back in 1935 it was actually one lump sum payment, and it was actually an average of about $80 to $85. So there was your $85, have a happy retirement. Thankfully we have evolved since then. In 1965 the Medicare program started. In 1972 Supplemental Security Income, which is better known as SSI, started, and that actually comes out of the general funds. 2003, they added on the Medicare prescription drugs, Part D. And then in 2010, they just started the Patient Protection Care Act, which is competitive health insurance. A lot of times people ask me about investing and some of the best ideas. We're not really able to endorse any one particular place, but we do have a website, mymoney.gov, and that has a lot of helpful ideas on how best to invest the Social Security benefits. Social Security was supposed to be a foundation for your retirement planning. Never really supposed to be the be-all and end-all of your retirement income, but more like a foundation. That, with any pensions that you have, any savings and investments, which are becoming increasingly more important, and any other income some people have, like VA, spousal benefits, things like that, all together make up your retirement income, Social Security being the foundation of that. Who's receiving Social Security benefits right now? 58 million people are receiving benefits. That large purplish part of the pie right there, the biggest section, those are actually retired beneficiaries. So they are the largest part of the pie right now. Retired beneficiaries, along with widows, widowers, children, survivors, and disabled beneficiaries are who are receiving the 58 million right now, or make up the 58 million. Who's paying Social Security right now? The employees and the employers of today are the ones who are paying today's benefits. Okay, so people who are working today and their employers are the ones who are paying today's Social Security beneficiaries. So that's important to know, because Social Security as a social agency is kind of like in the hot seat right now. You know, we're talking about, is it even going to be there when I retire and all of that. Well, I can tell you some of the things that are contributing to that. In 1950 and 60, we had a spike in the birth rate, better known as our baby boomers. Well, guess what? They're all ready to retire now. So that large spike in the birth rate is now turning into a large spike in the retirement rate. They are coming in swarms to the offices. We very affectionately call them the silver tsunami, because they really are flooding all of the offices right now. And so we still have about 10 more years of baby boomers to look forward to. The number of workers is actually decreasing per beneficiary. So back in 1960, we had about 5 workers for every beneficiary. In 2014, that number dropped down to 3. And in 2035, we're looking for that number to drop down even more to 2 workers per beneficiary. Downsizing, technology, all kind of things are contributing to this, but we are seeing less workers per beneficiary. America's getting older overall. In 1946, 7% of the population were retirees. 2014, it doubled to 14, and we're looking for it to triple to 21%. Baby boomers again. Life expectancy has changed, so people are living longer. So an average of 10 to 15 years is what people receive the benefits for. Now it's 20 to 25, even 30 years. So less people putting in, more people taking out longer period of time. So altogether, this blurb and this recipe that I just gave you explains why we're in the hot seat, why they're always talking about Social Security, if it's going to be there. They've actually extended this date. I haven't updated my PowerPoint, but they're now saying that we're okay until the year 2034. So they've extended it for another year. But if nothing changes, okay, worst case scenario, doomsday statement, if nothing changes to the year to 2035, what we're looking at is we won't be able to pay like we did before. It would be 77 cents for every dollar that we pay now. And that is the worst case scenario if nothing changes from here till then. They've already been making changes. They've extended it a year. They're going to continue to make changes. Every year they change with the budget. So I don't think this issue is going to be ignored. We saw how many people are depending on this. But this is the worst case scenario if nothing changes. All right, with all the ugly stuff out the way. Social Security is one of the only pension plans that are going to continue to give you an increase. The cost of living adjustments are very important to Social Security. We've had one almost every year for the exclusion of 2009 and 10. Those were very hard years for our beneficiaries because those cost of living increases help to absorb things that go up, like gas and food and clothing and all of those kind of things. So we're looking forward to this year's cost of living increase. And it's important to the Social Security benefit because in the first year of retirement, usually your Social Security isn't that much or that big of a part of your retirement. But after the 5th, 10th, and 20th year, as it continues to increase, it does become a more important part of that retirement pie that we've discussed. So the cost of living increases are very important. We look forward to them every year. How do you qualify for Social Security benefits? You have to earn Social Security credits or quarters of coverage. Same thing, credits and quarters of coverage. You need 40 quarters of coverage or credits in order to qualify for Social Security. So if you earned $1,220 this year in the private sector, you put into Social Security, you've earned 1 quarter or credit. If you've earned $4,880, you've earned 4 quarters, and that is the maximum you can earn in 1 year. You need 40 of those. So they say about 10 working years investing into Social Security will get you insured for retirement benefits. Once you have those quarters, they're there. Even if you stop or if you start investing into something else, those quarters are there when you're ready to retire. If you're thinking of retiring and you want a little more information, I brought some pamphlets here, but we're at the end of the fiscal year, so these kind of things are running low, but you can visit socialsecurity.gov, and we have all of our pamphlets online. We also have them in about 22 different languages. The age that you elect your retirement benefits does affect what you receive. If you retire at age 62, you'll receive a lower monthly payment. If you wait till your full retirement age, you'll get the full benefit, and you can even wait after that and get a higher payment. For example, this very lovely, seasoned young woman here, if she retired at age 62, she'd get 75% of her benefits. If she waited till her full retirement age, which is 66, she'd get 100%. And if she waited even more till age 70, she can get up to 132%. So it's about 8% more for every 12-month period you wait after your full retirement age. In addition to your own benefits, your child can qualify if they're under age 18 and if they're not married or if they're deemed disabled through Social Security. Your spouse qualifies once they turn age 62 or if they're caring for a child under 16 or disabled. Your ex-spouse can qualify. If you were married at least 10 years, if your ex-spouse is at least 62, if you've been divorced at least 2 years. The good thing is the ex-spouse amount does not change your own amount. It has no effect on your own, but they can apply and qualify for benefits even before you start to collect. So a current spouse would have to wait until you start to collect your benefits. An ex-spouse does not have to wait. As long as they're 62 and you're 62 and they qualify, they can start to collect benefits even before you do. Whether you're a current spouse or an ex-spouse, your benefit is 50% of the unreduced benefit. So if I'm collecting 1,000, my spouse is eligible for 500. Okay? Any reductions or anything comes after that, but it's half of the unreduced benefit of the worker. Okay? It will be reduced if they go early, if they have pensions, things like that, but they start with half. And again, spouse or ex-spouse benefits do not affect the number holder's benefit. Full retirement age has changed. It's still, early retirement is 62 for everybody. Full retirement age goes by the year you were born now. They've actually changed this twice already, 2 times when the budget cuts roll around. This seems to be a popular thing to pick on. They continue to increase the full retirement age. Budget cuts are rolling around again. It could happen again. So far they're up to age 67. I'll never say retirement, I don't know, but they can pick on this again. October is coming around. How do we determine your benefit? Pretty much we take the highest 35 years. Those high 35 years that you put into Social Security, well, what if you don't have 35 years, or what if you have some very low years? Well, the benefit is actually, what it does is they take those 0 years and they inflate them to show that you at least made the minimum that year. Even if it's a low year, they do the same thing. So you do end up having 35 qualifying years. If you are kind of want to answer some of those what if questions, like what if I stop working in June, or what if I wait till July? You know, if you're not sure, you're up in the air, we have something called the Retirement Estimator. These are the financial planner's favorite tool. It's real time, it uses your actual figures, you put in the dates, and it'll let you know what your monthly amount would be, like the difference between July, August, September, because it is like dollars difference. So a 2015 retirement benefit computation would look a little like this, a regular Social Security retirement computation. So they take 90% of the first 826 you make monthly. They always take a higher percentage off of the lowest amount. Social Security is supposed to help the low wage earner. 32% of anything 826 to 4,980 in the month, and then 15% of anything over that. Okay, and that's how they calculate the benefit. And I will show you the difference with someone who has windfall elimination. Windfall elimination provision, okay, it affects somebody who puts into a separate pension, city, state, local municipalities that put into a separate pension. And it states that the benefit will be offset. So, a normal computation that we just went over, 90%, 32, 15%, a windfall computation would start with 40%, okay? That 40% may be higher depending on how many substantial years you put into Social Security, which I'll explain a little bit better. But this is the difference with the windfall computation and the regular straight Social Security computation. So again, this is the same computation except with the 40%. So what happens is every year Social Security puts out a figure and they say, if you worked in the private sector, you put into Social Security and you made this amount of money this year, we consider that to be a substantial earnings year, okay? So depending on how many of those substantial earnings years you have made, that is the percentage of Social Security that you'll receive. So everybody is guaranteed at least 40% of what Social Security is saying they owe you. Guaranteed 40%. If you have more substantial years, 21, 22, 23, then the percentage of the Social Security gets higher and higher. If you have 30 substantial years of coverage in Social Security, then you are completely exempt from the windfall, okay? Those windfall elimination handouts that I gave, they show what the substantial earnings is every year. Okay, on the back there's a chart, and this chart is on there as well. Government pension offset will affect you if you are trying to collect as a spouse or a widow. So this offset is actually a little more harsh than the windfall. Windfall elimination provision affects your own benefit, you're guaranteed 40%. Government pension offset affects you if you're trying to collect as a spouse or a widow. And what it states is 2/3 of your gross monthly pension will come off of what you're eligible for as a spouse or a widow. It could potentially wipe it out. On your own, you have a guarantee of 40%, but as a spouse or a widow, you have no guarantees. For example, this person is collecting a $1,200 pension from the government. 2/3 of that is $800. Their Social Security spouse's benefit is $750. There will be no benefits payable on the spouse's record to this person because the 2/3 is higher. There is a calculator online that will help you with this as well if you're looking to know if you qualify for spouse's benefits or widow's benefits. But that's the general rule. 2/3 of your pension will come off. What you can expect at full retirement age, if you're a high wage earner, you'll receive about 34% of your pre-retirement earnings. Average wage earners about 41%, and low wage earners about 55%. Again, you get the highest return on the lowest wages. Social Security was geared to help the low wage earner. If you're looking to see your earnings record in order to compare it to that chart, the windfall elimination chart, if you go to socialsecurity.gov and you sign up for a My Social Security account, you can see all of your earnings at any time. Those little pamphlets that we used to send out that said, this is how much you'll receive, these are your earnings, they suspended them for a little while. They're reinstating them, but not to everybody and not as frequently. If you go to My Social Security and make an account, you can see them at any time. You just have to be 18 years old, have a U.S. An email address, a U.S. mailing address, and a Social Security number. You can create an account. If you don't get benefits, you can review those earnings, look and see how much you'll be receiving. You can view them, print them, save them, whatever's most convenient for you. We've actually learned through all of this fraud that's been going on that it's safer for you to have an account than it is for you not to have an account. Right now we have 0% fraud on those people who have made Social Security accounts. We have a 2% fraud rate for those people who have not made an account, because people are trying to make them for them. Once you start receiving benefits and you have a My Social Security account, you can print those benefit verification letters. They're very important. You can print when your Medicare started, how much you receive. Anytime you apply for anything, they're going to ask you for that if you're receiving Social Security or Medicare, and those can be printed anytime if you have an account. This is what it looks like. You want to create an account, put in your personal information, create a username and password. There is an extra security that you can add if you're interested. Some people love it, some people hate it. If you do add it, then when you go to log on, instead of going right in, they're going to send you a text message with a special code, and you have to use that to log in. That's how you can get your online benefit verification. It's in the middle of every screen. And these are our new sort of like slogans. Someday you'll be able to retire. Someday you'll get to your bucket list. This gentleman's bucket list includes putting a watermelon on his head. I don't know. There's a bunch of different ones. But hopefully when you start receiving Social Security, you can go ahead and get to that stuff on your bucket list. You can work and receive Social Security. There are earnings limits. If you're under your full retirement age, you can earn $15,720 this year. We'll take $1 for every 2 you make over that. That's this year. These figures change every year. If you're inside of the year of your full retirement age, that means January to the month of your birthday, you can make $41,880. We'll take $1 for every 3 off. And once you're your full retirement age, we don't care what you make. You can collect Social Security, make $1 million a month, and there's no penalties. If you make $1 million a month, please tell me where you work. But you're able to have no limit to what you're earning. Now, the nice thing about this is if you're still working and you're full retirement age, there's nothing nice about that, but if you are, you can collect your full Social Security benefits without any of the offsets. The offsets, windfall and government pension offset, do not apply until you start to collect that pension. So if you're still working at full retirement age, you can collect 100% of your Social Security benefits. There's no earnings limits, and your pension won't affect you. How do you apply for retirement benefits? You can go online, socialsecurity.gov. It takes about 15 minutes. Our site has become very user-friendly. We actually compare to Amazon now. So if you can shop, you can file online. You can call the 1-800 number. You give them your zip code, and they'll make you an appointment for your local office. Or you can walk into any Social Security office. Not the best recommendation. We talked about the baby boomers and flooding the offices. The only thing I can guarantee you if you walk into an office is you will be entertained, especially Springfield and Holyoke, and you'll be there for like an hour, hour and a half. If you're applying online, this is what it looks like. They'll ask you for personal information. So whether you're online, in the office, on the phone, these are the things that you'll need. Your Social Security number for yourself and anybody else you're applying for, spouse or children. Proof of age, we no longer need to see the actual birth certificate as long as your allegation matches what we have in our records. Okay? They streamlined that, so if you apply online, you don't have to turn it in as long as everything matches. Your last year's W-2s, because IRS doesn't always have the information right away or timely, and it's not always correct. So we need to know last year's earnings. Your earnings estimate for the current year, if you're when you're gonna stop working, and for the following year, if it's zero, it's zero. Bank information, direct deposit became mandatory with the budget cuts, no more paper checks. So you will need direct deposit information. Any marriages on any information on any marriages or divorces, all of them, even the ones you didn't like, whether it was 25 years, 10 minutes in Vegas, we need to know all of that information. And if you were in the military or you worked for the railroad, we need to know that information as well because it's actually helpful to your computation. Survivors benefits for widows. Widows can collect children can collect, under age 18 or if they're disabled. Widows can collect the benefits at full retirement age. They will get 100% of the benefit. They can go as early as age 60. If they're disabled, they can retire as early as age 50. If they're caring for a child, and a widow can collect benefits on their widowed spouse or spouse's number, and then remarry as long as it's after age 60 and continue that benefit. Okay, so they can remarry after age 60. And they can choose still which benefit they want to receive. So, I love you a lot, but let's wait till 60. And divorced widows and widows qualify as well. So they're actually eligible for 100%. When we discussed spouses before, I said if I'm collecting 1,000, my spouse would collect 500. Well, a widow would collect the full 1,000. Okay, a widow or widower. If they start as early as age 60, it'll be 71.5%. And widows have a couple more options. They can go in and say, well, I want to collect my own benefits right now and let my widow's benefits continue to increase, and then hop over there later, or vice versa. They want to collect their widow's now and then hop over to their own benefit as it continues to increase. So you do have these options. If you are collecting as a widow or widower, you do want to speak to somebody at the Social Security Administration. Because of all of these options, we want to make sure that you get the best, get on the best path. You know, they'll let you know your break-even point and what the best way to go is. Benefits are taxable. About half the people receiving Social Security are being taxed, okay? So as long, it's on your entire household income. So if you have any other income besides Social Security, you're probably going to be taxed. Nice thing is, the Social Security accounts now carry the 1099s. You can print them from there at any time. Or they'll mail it to a copy of your 1099 just like they used to mail your W-2s. Medicare, 65 or older. Unless you're disabled, you can get 24 months of a disability, but for a retired beneficiary, it's 65 or older. Medicare Part B does have enrollment periods, okay? Your initial enrollment period is the 3 months before you're 65, the month of, and the 3 months after. That's your initial enrollment period. If you're not ready for the Medicare in your initial enrollment period, you're still working, you're covered by a group health plan, or your spouse is covering you by your group health plan, and you don't take the B at your initial enrollment period, you can sign up for a special enrollment period. It's 9 months after, the 9 months after you either stop working, your spouse stops working, or you lose your group health plan, okay? Because you have to have both to qualify. So if you lose any one of those, you have 9 months to let us know, and we'll sign you up for a special enrollment period. If you miss the initial, you don't qualify for the special, you're subjected to the general enrollment period. That is January, February, March of every year. You will not have coverage until July of that year, and they'll tack a 10% penalty for every year you could have had it and didn't. And that penalty will stay with you monthly. So the enrollment is important to get in on time. Medicare has 4 parts: Part A, Part B, Part C, and Part D. Part A is hospital, which is like skilled nursing and things like that, hospital stays. Part B is more like your day-to-day medical primary cares. There is a monthly premium 104.90, and that may change in the beginning of the year. Part C is Medicare Advantage plans. They roll everything into one, and Part D is your prescription drug plans. If you are going from a state plan to Medicare, usually the Medicare becomes 80% of your health insurance, and then the city will pick up the last 20, or state or municipality. You can apply for an extra help. You have to be underneath certain income guidelines, and you can get about $4,000 of help if you do qualify. If you're interested in that, the same thing, online, on the phone, or in the office, you can apply. And why do we apply online? There's step-by-step help screens. Our website is award-winning. You can apply from a computer at your own pace, go in and out of the application, do it in your PJs with your coffee and your rollers in your hair, who knows. Have your friends help you. And we are committed to making sure our online services are secure. If you have a very detailed Medicare question, you actually want to contact Medicare. Social Security and Medicare are hand in hand, but we're not the same entity. So you can call the 1-800-MEDICARE number if you have a detailed question. We do the enrollments and the billing, but if you have detailed questions on bills, you do want to contact them. 1-800-MEDICARE, you can visit their website. Very nice website, not at all as nice as ours, but it is a nice website. SSI is the program that I discussed. You have to be under limited income and resources. It comes from the general funds. You have to be 65 or older, blind, or disabled at any age, and you can qualify for this benefit. If you're not a citizen, you do have to meet special requirements. Online services, we have our statement, direct deposit, retirement estimator, all those things that I discussed. The Medicare replacement cards are now on there as well, so now you can just go to your My Social Security account, replace your Medicare card. You can look at your payment history. If you have an overpayment, it will discuss it as well. So we're adding a lot of things to the online services. Social Security is also embracing social media. I'm not even on half of this stuff. They are. They're that much cooler than me. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest. This red envelope, if you go online, any page that you like, and you click on the red envelope, you can add in your email address. Anytime that page updates, it'll send you an email. This page has updated, so if you go to like your Medicare premiums or the earnings rates or anything like that, if you click the red envelope, it'll send you updates. Affordable Care Act started in 2010. There is competitive health care out there. I need to make sure that you know that. If you are interested in the competitive health care, there's a 1-800 number and there's a healthcare.gov website, and you can look at the different insurances there. As of August 2014, if you lose your card, we cannot verify with the little paper that we used to. Now you have to apply for a new card. They no longer give out those. Around tax time, a lot of people who come in and ask for just a verification of their Social Security number, no longer. They'll make you apply for a card now. And if you have a very good idea on how to help save the trust fund, if you just know how you can fix everything, please visit our Vision 2025. Read somebody else's ideas or add in your own. Maybe you'll be president next year, who knows? And that's it. Questions?
Could you maybe explain how premium isn't necessarily $104.90 depending on your income from not that current year, or how things like the sale of a second home could affect that?
Yeah, so it's called income-related monthly premium. So anybody who, I don't have the charts with me, but there are income sort of like guidelines. If you pass a certain amount, maybe you sold your home and you had a larger income that year, or you got a golden handshake for leaving your job and they gave you a lot more money for a certain year. They look 2 years actually behind and they see what your income is. If it's over a certain limit, they will tack on an extra monthly premium to your Medicare. It's called income-related monthly premium, IRMA. I can get you those charts, definitely. I can email Kathy, and you can see if you fall within those limits. It'll tell you how much more the premium will be.
If you don't have the 40 substantial quarters and you're only short a couple of quarters, is there a time limit for how much time you can get them in?
So,
like if it was 8 years ago, is it too late?
so the quarters of coverage Those 40 quarter of coverage to get you insured for Social Security, there's no time limit. The quarters of coverage are you need 40 of those to qualify for Social Security benefits. The substantial earnings are when you try to get a higher percent of the Social Security, so they're those, okay. So, no, there's no time limit. You can get them at any time, even if you've already retired and you went back to work and you got another one, they will recalculate your benefit. Okay.
I'll go back if I could to something I think you said, and I just want to make sure I heard it right.
Okay.
So in terms of the windfall elimination provisions, if you're just eligible for a pension, you stop working. Let's say you're about 65, you stop working. Let's say your normal age for collecting full benefit is age 66. You choose not to collect your pension. So in the eyes of the windfall elimination provision, is it being eligible for a pension that causes it, or is it you actually have to be receiving the pension to get it lost?
You have to be receiving the pension for the windfall to affect you. Can you stop working and say you don't want your pension yet?
Well, if you leave work prior to age 65, the pension continues to get larger because you're a little bit older. And so if you had the opportunity to collect a non-offset Social Security benefit under, let's say, a spouse, it may make sense to do it. I just wanted to check and make sure that was actually.
Right, so simultaneous, the pension and the Social Security, that's when the windfall affects you.
On the spouse, that all those options, they apply whether your spouse is worth or 40 quarters or not.
The only person that it affects is the person that put into a separate pension. So it would be the person receiving the pension. If the spouse was never putting into, none of that would affect them. But there was someone else that did.
Stay in retirement, collecting your Social Security already, still working full-time. When you leave and get your state pension, what happens to your Social Security?
It will drop down.
How much?
40% is the worst case scenario.
40%?
Right, it could be more depending on how many substantial years of earnings you put in, but the worst case scenario, it'll drop down to 40% of what you were receiving.
No one's been able
Yeah.
to thank you.
You're welcome.
Are the substantial earnings the minimum amount that you have to make in a year? I don't understand.
So the chart, the windfall elimination provision, every year they put out a figure. So if you worked and put into Social Security and let's say in 2014 you made that amount, you have a year of substantial earnings. Okay? So depending on how many of those you've made, that little chart next to it will show you the percentage of Social Security.
1975, I was $35.
Sorry?
And so whatever it says, so say 1975, for a year, I only have to make 35.25.
Yeah.
That's it.
So that's when people earn most of their substantial earnings because, in high school or college or whatever else they did, they were very low, 500, 700, 1,300, yep, all those count.
So if you have people that are Social Security, spouse gets 100% covered. So if you are someone that's going to get a pension, you basically penalize tax pension.
So you said 2 people collecting Social Security?
Yeah, so if you have a husband and a wife that are getting Social Security, if you have one spouse passed away, that particular spouse is going to get 100%.
They would, yes, be
So
eligible.
if you have a husband and wife, one is getting a pension, one is getting Social Security. If the one that is getting Social Security passes away, the one that doesn't get Social Security,
Okay, so, right, because they're going to try to get widow's benefits from Social Security, yes, 2/3 of their pension will come off of it. Well, right, so it's the offset, the government pension offset, which, it's been around for a long time. They're trying to do away with it. It's only 8 states that still do it, so.
How would your Social Security affect
Well, if you had 30 years in the public sector and you made substantial earnings, you would be, oh, okay. Oh, because 30 years makes you exempt from everything, but, and you do like a lump sum, you mean?
You withdraw your money,
Yeah, it will still affect you, they'll prorate it, and it'll affect you the same way.
no matter what you do.
Right, unfortunately. Yep.
The windfall provision and the offset, it's like a kind of a double whammy. You're talking, there has been talk about reform being one of the only 8 states. Is that for both of those provisions?
Right. So it's actually a state legislation, it's not a federal one.
So if the reform goes through at any point, whether the person's retired or about to retire or whatever, so I would assume then the benefits would be recalculated at that point?
Once they decide to do away with it, they'll have to decide all of that with it. Who's grandfather, who's not, if it's retro, if it's not, but that would all be decided when the provision gets taken down. I know that they made a bill for it this year. I'm not sure how far they got, I didn't follow. It's actually my father who's affected by this, so he follows it and lets me know. I get nasty grams all the time, you're taking my money. So, yes Dad, it's me, I have it in my pocket right now. But, so he's the one that updates me on this, and he did say that this year was a really good year, they got very far. I'm not sure what happened, I think there's a new governor now, I'm not sure how everything's gonna play out. So, they're very active about it,
Yeah.
but it's been a long time.
If they can do that, does that mean that the state employees have to also pay social security?
They may decide that, yes, I'm assuming, because they're gonna do away with that, so there will be a lot of changes.
I know that you didn't name the program, the Windfall, and I was just wondering, I'm a paraprofessional, so for the past 20 years that I've been working as a para, I also work other jobs and pay into Social Security. And I wonder how it's supposed to be a windfall when it's my money and I'm working side by side, paying into my retirement, paying into Social Security. And then I have a sister-in-law that never worked a day in her life and gets half of her husband's check. To me, that's a windfall. So it's like I sit here, I work 60 hours a week and I'm not going to get combined what she gets. So it's just disheartening. When I started this whole thing, it was 13 states, so now 5 more have gone by the wayside with this. I mean, it's a really sad thing. And then when you talk about the husbands, my husband's retiring, he's worked 50 years. And because I worked for a school, if something happens to him,
So, one thing about the spouse's benefits, it's either or, like you can't get both. If yours is higher, then you'll get your own. But if half of theirs is higher, then you'll get that one. So what happens is, for those people who never worked, they receive half of their spouse's. But if that person did work, they would probably receive their own and even more. Okay? So spousal benefits were supposed to help for those families where somebody stayed at home taking care of children and stuff like that. But if you worked and you put in, your own would be higher than half of theirs. So,
right, what I'm saying is my husband's worked for almost 50 years. He's going to retire if something happened to him, and I'm supposed to get his benefits. If I had worked for a school system, or a municipality or whatever, it would be a lot, his money, all the money that he's paid is going to disappear. So I don't see where there's a windfall, in any of this. It's hard.
sorry.
I've got a quick question as far as, working for the town. So we don't have social security benefits, basically, a lot of us. We have either, say I have my spouse's, and then we have our pension, our retirement from the school. So basically what you're telling me is it better off that I just keep my social security and not get anything in my retirement if they're gonna take 40%, and if I work another year, they're gonna take 45%? I don't understand how that exactly works. Am I understanding it correctly?
So there will be an offset to your benefits once you're vested in the pension. You're guaranteed 40%. It could be more, 45 or 50, depending on how many years you put in substantially. I cannot tell you whether it's good for you to do this or do that. I don't know. Everybody's situation is very different. But, you know, it's something that you want to look into. You know, you want to do the numbers. I can't do, you know, recommend anything. But once you're vested, yes, there will be an offset to your pension.
You said something about the benefit is calculated on 35 years.
35 highest years.
And then you also said that something about them raising the.
So, and in part, that is the explanation.
It dilutes your benefit. Those years that you work in college, you could actually raise that. Is that correct?
Why would it dilutes the benefit?
Well, my husband worked for 24 years in the private sector, and he returned to teaching, so he will be affected by the government windfall. But he did have some years when he had a significant enough contribution. So are you saying during those years, they will actually raise it?
Right, but it won't be to the significant amount. It will just show the minimum wage for that year. So,
But if they didn't count those years at all and just counted the 24 years of substantial contribution, the average would be higher. That's what I'm saying.
right, no, it's the highest 35 years for everybody. So that's the way the calculation is done. The reason, though, actually, their reasoning for the windfall offset in the first place is they're saying, okay, the 35 years, those.
I understand that. I'm not asking really about the windfall. I understand that. What I'm talking about is how the amount is calculated originally, without even considering the windfall, right? So if you worked 24 years with substantial service in those 24 years, but then worked maybe another 4 or 5 years in college where you didn't make that much money, if those 4 or 5 years were not counted at all, his average would be higher during those 25 years. See my point?
Yeah, I do see your point, but that's the way they calculate the
They
benefit.
still
It's
calculate that.
all across the board, you know. So it would be nice to change the calculation to benefit every single person. Or they should only do 25. You should only. But I mean, the trust fund is already in trouble. If they went and did all these different things, it would be even worse. So they do one strict calculation, 35 highest years for everybody. And what I was trying to explain before is that those 0 years, which somebody who put into a pension, they would have a whole bunch of 0 years. They actually inflate it to show that you made the minimum for that year, and that is their reasoning behind the windfall. That's what I was trying to explain.
When you say minimum, you're saying the substantial earnings to start?
No, it would be like the minimum wage for that year.
Where is that now?
They would probably, I don't know, the U.S. website or the employee, the labor website.
You're not gonna know, like, let's say if I retired today, you know what the actual minimum, like, say, just 40 quarters, or just the minimum to qualify, and I just earned just enough, you know, over your minimum benefit.
The minimum, but there is no minimum benefit. There's a maximum benefit. Some people, do get like $5, $3, $2. I don't know what the minimum would be if you just.
So it's possible to get $3, $5.
Yeah. I've seen it. There is a maximum, not a minimum, right? So some people could get a very low benefit.
You mentioned there was 8 windfall states. You retired from a windfall state, you moved to a non-windfall state, was still high.
Yeah. It goes by the state that you earned the pension.
Can you repeat the question?
So not every state does this. So she asked if you moved to another state that doesn't have the windfall and you collect your pension there, would it still affect you? And the answer is yes, because it goes by the state that you earned the pension.
If you decide to wait and turn your Social Security benefit to age 70 in order to earn a higher percentage, assuming no other offsets, when you die, does your spouse get that same benefit, or do they get the benefit that you would have earned at full retirement age, let's say 60?
For retirement age. It's 100% of the unreduced workers' benefit.
So even though the spouse was, the person was receiving more, the spouse would get the benefit at full retirement age, not that the person was making.
Correct. Yep.
For the windfall, you say that the law protects you at low pension. How much is that? How little is that?
Protects you at the low pension, sorry.
Under the windfall, it says a guarantee, the law protects you if you get a low pension. We will not reduce your Social Security benefits more than half. How much is a low pension?
So it doesn't go by the pension unless it's the government pension offset. What they're saying is they won't cut you more than 40%. So that's the guarantee. The most that they can, the lowest you can receive is 40%. That's the guarantee they're talking about. So it doesn't matter even if you're getting a higher pension or a lower pension, you're guaranteed 40%. If you put more earnings in, then you get a higher percentage.
So this is probably a fairly basic question. I don't have a pension, I'm not a state employee. When I retire, I will be older than my spouse. When I retire and take my retirement benefit, my Social Security benefit, at the same time, even though my spouse is still working, he can collect half of what I've earned in Social Security.
Yes, you
I
just,
get the full amount and he gets another half.
yes, but he has to be under that earnings limit.
Okay.
Okay, so if he's working, it's got to be under that limit. If not, I mean, there's no reason it'll all be wiped out.
So then, to go beyond that, I retire, I have a Social Security benefit, he retires, he's got a pension, but he can still collect some of that 40% of the Social Security.
His own, yeah.
And based on his pension, in addition, and my earnings don't matter, right?
No, he would either get his or half of yours. So 40% of his will
Okay.
probably be higher than half of yours because of the offset.
Okay.
I know that Richard Neal has put this bill in with a Republican senator from Texas. So, this has to go through, even though we are under a state law for this windfall, and for the widows, which is going to affect me, it still has to go through the federal, right?
Correct.
So
Yes.
what can we do? I know you're going to say just write to your senator, but is there anything else we can do? Do you have any information at all as to?
If you call the congressman's office, they do have a list of advocates, people that you can write to, talk to. Yep, that, you know, and they're very active, trust me.
How did the other states? You said 5 states have eliminated it. So how did they get it done?
I don't follow it enough. If my dad was here, he'd take over the microphone and
Okay.
but I don't follow it enough. But I'm not too sure. It's a good idea to figure it out. Definitely look into it though, because I mean we want to follow that model.
I don't know how to word this scenario, so let me just throw it out there.
Okay.
You're married to someone for 22 years, you divorce, you meet somebody else, you marry. That person passes away at a young age, but he also worked for the federal post office. Not going to be looking at Social Security that way. Someone told me that if you don't remarry again, you can go back to the original ex-husband and go for Social Security under that person as long as you were married over a certain number of years. When can you go after that Social Security? I mean, do you have to wait till
62.
you retire or at 62?
So you can start it as early as age 62. You just have to be under the earnings limits. You know, there's all that other stuff that
Right.
plays. The earnings limits,
Okay.
can't be married. You can actually remarry after age 60 and do it, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just be under the earnings limits, and as early as age 62, you can start to see. Now remember, if you to go at 62, they're going to reduce it.
Right.
If you wait to your full retirement age, it's the full half.
Now, if you wait till full retirement age, does it hit you again for the earnings
No, there's no earnings limits at full retirement age.
at full retirement age? So if I have, the windfall's gonna hit me though, because I'm gonna hit my pension through a town, and when I do hit full retirement age, if I go after the Social Security, they're gonna hit me with the windfall and reduce it.
So you're gonna have the three options, right? You can either get your own 40%, you can get half of the ex-spouse's with the 2/3 taken off, or you can get the whole widow's benefit with the pension taken off. So if the person that was in the widowed, you was in the post office, they're probably not gonna have a big Social Security amount. So you're either gonna be better off with 40% of your own or half after the reduction.
Since, when I turned 62, I did not pay for Social Security. And then a financial person came to school and was talking to, and I mentioned it, he said, okay, this is something to think about, I'm not telling you to do this. But, he said, take your Social Security now because you're not going to get it later when you retire. So that's something to think about. Okay, check it out with your numbers. And, you know, if you're gonna wait until you're 67 or so and retire, those are 5 good years you could have been getting for Social Security if you put in.
So a lot of,
Something to think about.
yeah, a lot of times we look at, okay, so the longer I wait, the more I'll get. But you're not looking at all that you gave up in between there. So that's something definitely to think about as well. A lot of people are like, no, I'm gonna wait till full, no, I'm gonna wait till 70, but you just gave up, 20, 30, 40,000 to add on $80 extra a month. How long is it gonna take you to make up that money? Yep.
Where can we get, do you have that information you have on these PowerPoint slides? Is that available somewhere?
The PowerPoint slides, all of it, I can email my PowerPoint to her, to Kathy, the one that set this up. But the windfall stuff is all on the flyer, the government pension's on the flyer.
But there are other things on there that I'd like to have as well.
Okay, yeah, I can email the PowerPoint, sure.
There's a calculator, correct, on the website for windfall?
And government pension offset.
So when you, because a lot of us are in the situation we have to deal with both, is there that calculator, you can put in enough variables that you can get a pretty good idea?
Right, so the windfall one is gonna ask you for your earnings. That's why I brought the flyer on how to sign up for an account, because you can print out your earnings anytime. It's gonna ask you to punch in your earnings, and then it will tell you how many years of coverage, substantial earnings you have. That will tell you your percent.
When you summer relationships and everything that are going on now, there's a spouse who's 62 if they're married to someone who's significantly younger than them, and the significantly younger person is one making more money. When can they get their spousal benefits opposite from the younger person? That person has
Right, they have to at least be 62, the younger person, before they can collect. So that will take a little while.
yeah.
I have one more question. I worked in the private sector for lots of years, so I earned my Social Security. So if I were to pass away, my husband would get full benefits, correct? Okay. But he's not. He works for the state, for the town government. So when he passes away, am I getting this correct, that we need a government pension offset that I could get very little?
Right, so you would still be eligible for his widow's benefit 100% unreduced, as long as you're full retirement age.
From the pension?
But are you receiving a pension?
No.
No, so it won't affect you. You're not the one that put into the pension.
Right.
You would still get his widow's benefit.
Okay, I still get his widow's benefit. So
No offsets.
What about survivor benefits from the state?
Oh, it's the other way around.
As long as she's not the one that put into the pension, she can get those survivor's benefits from the state or city and then not receive that offset. Okay.
Is it all or nothing on the years of substantial earnings? So let's say in 1980 it's $5,100. Let's say a person earns $3,000. Is it counts like a
Correct. Well, I mean, it would be one of the 35 probably, but not a substantial year.
I'm still unclear on this. I'm a little bit confused. My husband has worked in the private sector his entire life and collected probably a substantial Social Security. I have Social Security, but I don't think I'm going to be able to collect because of the amount of quarters. Most of my time has been spent in teaching, so I will collect a pension from my teaching job. If something were to happen to him and I'm collecting a pension, what can I expect to have from his Social Security? What's going to be taken away if I'm full retirement age? Please
So
explain that.
if you're at full retirement age, you're going to start with his whole amount, okay? So you'll start with the whole amount that he receives, but then 2/3 of your government pension, your state pension, your local pension, will come off of what you're eligible for. It could potentially wipe it out. On your own, as long as there's a figure there that says this is how much you can get from Social Security, you're guaranteed 40% of that. You will not have a guarantee on a widow's benefit. If 2/3 of your pension is higher than that, it will wipe you out.
So I will not be able to collect from his Social Security as a widow.
If the offset is higher, no. You will not have any benefits to collect.
Can you explain what happens if two people both collect Social Security and one passes away? They don't get both, then either.
Correct. So if I'm collecting Social Security and my husband's collecting Social Security, I pass away, he will get my full amount. That's it. He won't get both his and mine. It's always either or, and we always offer the highest amount. So if my full amount was higher, he'll get mine. If his own is higher, then he'll stay on his own. Okay? So it's always either or, it's never both.
She wanted to know if there was any benefit pleading her own quarters instead of using her ex-husband. I don't know what she meant by that, but,
That's kind of like a personal, you have to see the numbers.
yeah, well, she
You know-
said she lives in Pittsfield, and she said that you don't know. I would tell you exactly what she said, but she was not happy.
imagine.
She asked if she could go to Springfield, because I've been to Springfield many times and gotten answers. And they said, no, she had to go to Pittsfield. She said, they don't know what they're doing. So it would depend on what he would be getting for Social Security.
So if she's collecting a pension,
Well, not yet.
She will be.
from
So-
very substantial.
if it's not far from her quarters to get insured, if there's like, some people are like 2 or 3 quarters off, the quarters this year were 1,400, if you can manage that, get insured, she's guaranteed 40% of her own. So she's guaranteed that. Now on her ex-husband, there's no guarantees. If 2/3 of her pension is higher, then she may never see her ex-husband's benefit. So, I mean, that's the most I can do without, knowing her own figures.
Yeah, and I know that too. but
Yeah,
I
so
wanted to know.
if she's close, she can go for that 40%, might help her with her Medicare premium, things like that. If not, then she can try for the ex-husband's, but 2/3 of her pension will come off of that. Someone back there, yeah.
I have, my husband, he's always worked in the private sector, so he'll get his own Social Security. And I have over 40 quarters, but I've been 15 years in education. So when I get my own Social Security, less than 40%. Right. So he would get his Social Security.
Right, you won't affect his at all. You would get your 40%. You could even get half of it if it's higher with the offset, but that doesn't, it's not usually likely. But you won't, your pension stuff won't affect him.
Okay.
Supposed to wrap it up? A few more questions, anybody? So if it's a substantial year, you'll get a higher percent. If it's not a substantial year, what they do is they start swapping out those highest 35. If it's higher than one of your 35, they'll swap it out, recalculate your benefit, and it'll probably go up a few dollars. Correct. Well, that's a spouse's. It's 40% of your own. So, right, every year around March or in the beginning of April, they recomputate all the benefits with the figures from IRS. Yep. Right. So it's 40% on your own, or 2/3 of your pension comes off of his. So yes, we always offer the highest. Yeah, it's right. We'll do the two numbers, and then we'll put you on the higher benefit. Right, so you have to be under the earnings limit, so if you're full retirement age, there is no earnings limit, but if before full retirement age, yes, you have to be under a certain amount. Yeah, if you're 62 and he's 62, you can start to receive the half, but remember that's early retirement, so it'll be reduced for early retirement, plus the 2/3 of the pension, and if you have an earnings limit. Right, for the ex-spouse, no, they don't even have to be getting benefits yet.
Someone's probably already asked this question, but we have a hard time really hearing over there. I will be 62 next year. I have all my quarters, okay? But I now work in education, so are you telling me that the best thing for me to do right now would be to apply and collect my Social Security at this point, at 62, while I'm still working?
You won't have an offset, but you have to be under these earnings limits right here.
Oh, yeah, we're way under those, like, whatever.
So then you can collect your Social Security. Now it will be the age 62 rate,
Right,
75%, yeah? But no offset until
No
you collect
offset.
your pension.
Till I collect my pension, which,
You can, yeah, if you can be under this, you can do that, yeah.
All right. I'm good.
Finally, some good news.
Substantial earnings, okay, if you had over 25 years, it says 65%.
Yeah.
It's 65%
Of whatever figure we say Social Security owes you monthly. Yep. Okay. Somebody else, please?
If you had one of the slides up that showed if you are disabled and you're able to collect widow's benefits, if you were married for more than 10 years, but you're divorced and your ex-spouse has passed away, you're 60 years old, but you are disabled, are you then able to collect on his Social Security? Is that what that said?
Right, so your pension would still apply, correct? Your pension would still apply, it would still be an
There would
off.
be no pension, this is not.
Oh, okay, so, correct, so at age 60, if you're a widow, you're disabled, we prove Social Security proves you're disabled, yes, you can get, I think it's 71.2% or something like that of the benefit, it's 71.5.
Even if he's passed away, and you're the widow, it doesn't matter.
Yep, so same earnings limits would apply, but yeah, but if you're disabled, usually people are not working. Yep. Definitely.
If I have 30 years till retirement, what's the likelihood of me seeing any of this?
Like I said, I don't have a crystal ball, but they're making changes every day. This benefit, 58 million people are affected. It's not something that they can just, grab and, I guess they could, but it's not going to be easy. So they're working every day to make changes. They've made a ton of changes already. These last few years, the budget cuts has changed a lot. hours of service, everything. So we're looking forward to see what happens this year. Actually, we just had our meeting. October 1st is the new fiscal year. They still don't have a budget. 2 years ago, they shut us down for a little while. So we had a meeting today. We're looking forward to see what happens October 1st. Hopefully they extend us at least till December. So.
Basically, after there for 15 years, get nothing.
Well, it would be 72 cents for every dollar. So that would be the change if we run out. So it won't completely go away, but it just won't be paid the same way. Does anybody else have a question?
One more, health insurance. If you're eligible for a pension through the school district, you're also going to have health insurance continue. Do you still have to apply for Medicare at 65?
If you're eligible for Medicare, I believe yes, and you work for the state, yes, you have to apply for Medicare. Even if you don't qualify for Medicare, but your spouse does, you have to apply still.
One important thing to remember is even though people think that because they work for the public sector, they're not eligible for Medicare, and they won't be eligible because they didn't pay in. Anyone hired after April of 1986 is paying into Medicare.
You may not be paying into Social Security is what she's saying, but you, after 86, you were paying into Medicare, so you're more than likely insured for Medicare. So even though they don't put into Social Security, they do put into Medicare.
Yes.
Yes, for your spouse. Yep, if your spouse qualifies, you qualify as well. Oh. Go ahead.
For the Medicare piece, if you are working in a school district, if you continue retired, you have insurance plan, you have to still go on to Medicare at a certain age. Is it at your full retirement, not the 62, but at the 60?
Well, you can't qualify. Medicare is at 65 unless you're disabled.
Okay, so you could stay under the school plan, and then at 65, you'd have to go on Medicare.
It's when you're eligible,
And-
so if
so-
you're disabled.
And when you're
yes.
65, you have to have for A for Medicare, and 65, even if you're still working. After, when you retire, you have to have B and full Medicare, apply for full Medicare.
So if you retired earlier, say at 62, you could keep the school, as an example, insurance, but at 65, you're saying you have to have Medicare for everything.
And that apply for Medicare only. That's why I brought that pamphlet, because those people who are still working at age 65, they just want the A. That takes 10 minutes. Go online, fill it out. I just want the A. I'm still working. You're done. You know, they'll send you the card with just the A. And then when you retire, you want to come in for the B.
Yeah, I think, going off of what she said, I think people are really impression of the difference in the fact they're still working. They don't sign up for the start, they're very penalized.
No.
I'm not sure.
That's the special enrollment period. Yep, you have 9 months after you stop working to sign up for the B. No penalties. We put you on.
That's what, because a lot of my retirees are under the impression that if they're 65 and they're working, they don't sign up for the first fee, they're going to be penalized.
No penalties if you qualify for that special enrollment period, which means you were still working and covered by a group health plan. So you can say no to the B at age 65. You do want to get the A. The A, there's no premium for it. You hop on the A, you tell them I don't want the B right now. Whenever you stop working or you lose your group health plan, that's when you want to let us know. We'll put you on the B, no penalties.
Right now, I have insurance through my employer. My husband is retired. He doesn't have fees because he's under my roof. Now, when you're not retired, he has to go on a fee.
Yes.
Does he still have that special?
So it's 9 months from when he loses his active group health plan through an active employer. You had the active employer and he was covered through your group health plan, he'll qualify.
Okay.
He has 9 months after you stop working.
Single plan, individual plan?
For Medicare?
For the supplemental.
Oh, I don't,
Supplemental, we both have to get these.
she's talking about SIPCO plans and,
Yes, so when you retire, if you're over 65 when you retire, and he has been over 65 for a while, you'll both go on your own Medicare, and you'll both go on MedX or whatever your senior plan is, under your Chapter 32 plan with your group health insurance.
Okay, but when I talked to the Social Security office, they said I had to send a form to the payroll department saying that he had coverage
retire, you'll go to your human resource department, you'll go down to Social Security, and you'll get a form, and your human resources department will fill out a form for you showing that he had coverage through a group employer.
She's saying I have 9 months. My
Um,
husband have 9 months.
Federal, through the
When you
government,
stop.
yes, you have 9 months, but your town probably won't let you go 9 months on the
I
actual
don't work
plan.
for the town.
Or your,
I
okay,
work
so
for the
your
state.
state, they may not let you go 9 months either. They can tell you your active employment insurance cover ends the end of the month in which you terminate your employment or you retire, and you have to be on Medicare Part A and B for the first of the following month.
Well, I'm on A now, I'm 65 is not now. But right now, I have group insurance
Yeah.
because I'm still working. He is under my group insurance because I have a family. Now, when I retire, I want him on his own plan, individually.
Right.
It's cheaper. It really is.
Well, he wouldn't be an individual plan. He would, when you retire, he'd be on Medicare A and B, paying the premium for Medicare Part B. And then he would get a supplemental or a wrap plan that would go with it. That would be probably, I don't know who your employer is, but probably offered through your employer. Or you could go to AARP, or you could go elsewhere.
No, he could stay, no, it's just that I still have
So,
to get that.
I do have to wrap up. Thank you very much for your time. Everybody have a good evening.